Geoffrey Palmer. It seems there are so many iconic roles, Geoffrey. I mean, working with likes of Wendy Craig in Butterflies, with Leonard Rossiter doing that, and of course with Dame Jude in As Time... Dame Jude.
Yes.
As time goes by. I had Wendy Craig on a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, Geoffrey Palmer's coming on." She said, "He left me for Judi Dench." But you seem to have, particularly with Judy, a great rapport, a great chemistry.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think, I mean, that's what everyone says. I think the writing's good, and if you get a couple of performers, they'll deliver what's there, you know.
Was there a moment in your career where you realised it was crusty men that you were getting saddled with, as it were? Lots of different crusty men, but generally men who were rather tricky.
I think this did it, really. I just spoke the lines I was given, and the face did the rest.
But you clearly enjoy it. I mean, the fact that you're creating comedy out of being serious, is that, it seems to be, comedy seems to be a thread that runs through. Yes.
I mean, I like the idea that you can play comedy without looking as though you're playing comedy. You know, don't smile to show you're being funny. Yeah. It's more interesting to, I mean, you know, Walter Matthau, kind of a god. I've been likened to him. I should be so lucky. But they don't know who Walter Matthau is.
Oh, they do.
I'm glad. Yeah.
The voice is clearly the tool of the trade, and it comes to the fore in this new album, which is called Words for You. It has hit today #1 in the compilation charts. So you're actually top of the pops, Geoffrey Palmer, which is probably something that you... Now, it's...
Someone who's tone deaf, that's not
someone
bad.
Who's tone deaf. Well, let's just have a look at you and a couple of the other stars on this CD doing their stuff.
Oh, to be in England, now that April's there. And whoever wakes in England sees, some morning unaware.
Such love I cannot analyze. It does not rest in lips or eyes, neither in kisses nor caress.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too.
What was your reaction when you were asked to do it? I mean, you know, to read poetry to music. What did you think?
Well, I was a little bit suspicious. I thought it might not work, actually. But I've heard the whole thing, and I do think it works absolutely wonderfully.
It's a wonderful association of words and music. The music seems to have been chosen very carefully.
Beautifully chosen.
To fit the words.
And it neither dominates. I mean, the music beautifully backs the verses. And I think it's absolutely terrific. I mean, there's some wonderful poems there. I mean, Martin reading that. Alison Steadman reads a poem I'd never heard. Rock Me to Sleep, Mother, which is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. Lindsay Duncan reads Stop All the Clocks, which I'm sure you all remember from Four Weddings and a Funeral. Well, that was good. Lindsay Duncan gives a kind of masterclass in how to read a poem.
I had the great good fortune to do a programme on Radio 4 called With Great Pleasure a couple of Christmases ago, and you're allowed to choose 2 people to read the poems you choose and the pieces of prose. And I said, could you possibly get Dame Judi Dench and Geoffrey Palmer? And they said, we'll try. And bless your heart, you did. I had one of the most wonderful days of my life sitting on a little stage in London with these two, sitting between them like a boy who's been allowed to play with a grown-up. But the thing that struck me about it, Geoffrey, also was how much poetry means to you, because mercifully, because I'd chosen pieces which really moved me, and they really moved you as well. And you clearly find words very powerful, in the same way that some people find...
Well, you chose a poem which I was lucky enough to read, which I actually wanted to be on this disc, but they turned that down, which was Helen, the Edward Thomas poem. But I've got another Edward Thomas on it, which was...
You've got Adelstrop.
I've got Adelstrop, which is actually wonderful. But I mean, really, apart from the fact that it's nice to read beautiful poems, and they offered me 2 or 3 and said, would you like to make suggestions yourself? The kind of hook, I think, for me and a lot of probably the other readers was that Island Records, who put together Words for You, gave a great wad of money up front to a rather wonderful children's charity
This is I Can.
called I Can, which is to help kids with communication difficulties, speech, understanding, you know, learning about words. And the problem being with if a kid has problems communicating, reading the letters, speaking, dyslexia, whatever the hell it is, they can just get left behind and can get left out, and then we know what can happen. And this charity helps kids right across the country with that. They've got a website, they do sort of pamphlets and booklets and things for parents, you know, to help what you should be doing, helping your kid to read and so on. And the royalties that the readers, let's be honest, we got paid to read the poems, but the royalties we would get from the sales, which are enormous, and quite rightly, go to the charity I Can. So Island Records not only doing Words for You in itself, terrific, but doing something for a wonderful charity.
You were in the Marines. What made you come into acting way back? You weren't an obvious candidate.
I couldn't find anything else to do. I did all sorts.
And you were at the Kew Theatre. I mean, I was at Kew Gardens. There was a little theatre there many years ago now.
Before you were born, Alan, yeah.
Only just.
No, it's nearly 60 years ago, come on.
Did you take to it instantly? You think, this is what I want to do? Were you starstruck in any way?
No, I never thought I'd be kind of, well, there wasn't television really then. 1870. No, there wasn't really television. I never really thought I'd be in the West End. I just thought it was kind of fun, you know, and if you're 20, you don't worry about the future and the mortgage and all.
Anything in the offing? Anything coming up?
Absolutely nothing at all.
How wonderful. Can I come fishing with you?
Please do, Alan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geoffrey Palmer. Thank you very much.